Welcome to the Sodexo Stop Hunger Foundation Celebration Dinner. Please give a warm welcome to the Executive Director of the Sodexo Stop Hunger Foundation, Roxanne Moore.
Good evening, everybody. We still have a few seats that are up here and around the room. I want to welcome all of you to the second annual Sodexo Charity Classic presented by PepsiCo. Thank you. It's so nice to see many of our returning friends and supporters of the Sodexo Stop Hunger Foundation. I know we have several new guests with us this evening as well. So I'm so glad you guys are all here. Welcome to Pinehurst. And are you having a good time? All right, good. We've really been very fortunate. It's exciting that we've been able to gather for 2 years in a row. And I know that it brings me personally great joy to know that we can unite like this to raise awareness about hunger as well as its solutions. This evening, we have an excellent program that's going to recognize our partnerships, our Sodexo Employee Heroes of Everyday Life, and our Stephen J. Brady Scholars and their hunger fighting efforts. This evening would be impossible without your valued partnerships, without the support of Sodexo leaders, and without the dedication of Sodexo employees. So I'd like to begin by thanking Dave Curry, Stephanie McGuire, and the entire supply management team for their support of Stop Hunger. I don't think, obviously by your applause, it's no surprise that the supply management team is a rock star group that has been really a driving force behind the Charity Classic since its inception. But you should also know that they are a dedicated resource to us, very dependable resource to Stop Hunger throughout the year. And so again, I'm just going to ask you, you know at least one person on the supply management team, please give them a huge round of applause. And speaking of teams, I would like to thank the mighty Stop Hunger team of 3. I know that many of you had time at the Scratch and Win to meet Lisa Acuna, as well as other members of our team, Sarah Sprecher and Taylor Garicki. Thank you guys for being flexible, hardworking, and loyal to our Stop Hunger mission. I appreciate you so very much. And of course, there are many other folks who are behind the scenes helping to make this evening possible. Thank you to our Stop Hunger volunteers, H&S Sports Group, Taylor Print Impressions, as well as Ideal Works Marketing for all that you have done to help us plan a full 3 days of events, all the planning, the development, the execution, everything we've needed for tonight. Thank you so much for your support as well. Now, much like many other businesses, the Sodexo Stop Hunger Foundation experienced some of its most challenging years during the pandemic. And while trying to navigate the unknown and maintain our same level of community support, the Stop Hunger Board of Directors has provided the strategic leadership that we needed to sustain the same level of community charitable giving. I owe an abundance of gratitude to these board members and especially to our board chair, Joan McLaughlin. Joan's guidance. Thank you, Joan. Joan's guidance, but also you should know her sincere passion for ending hunger contributed significantly to the resilience of our team, as well as where we are today. So I'd like to actually ask our board directors to please stand so that we can recognize the Stop Hunger board directors. Joan McLaughlin, thank you. So many thanks. And we also want to thank, tonight we have members of our Country Leadership Committee, our CLC, with us here this evening. I know that you folks are spread throughout the room, but I just sincerely want to thank you for being here, but I also want to thank you for helping us to raise awareness externally about our Stop Hunger mission, but also helping us to elevate employee engagement in our mission as well. Many of your segments have continued to support Stop Hunger activities, but you've also had new employees who are helping with new initiatives that are helping K-12 students, university students, as well as community members at large. So again, thank you for helping us to be more impactful where it's been most needed. Thank you very much. And then we also have 2 very special guests who have traveled quite far to be with us this evening. I'm very proud to announce and welcome Muna Fassi Diodi. She is our new global president for Stop Hunger, And we have Francois Blancard here, our Senior Vice President for Global Supply Management. It is an honor to have you with us here this evening, and we're glad that you arrived safely. Thank you. Now, while I've specifically highlighted many people who have helped stop hunger recently, I want you to know that every single one of you in the room have had an impact on helping to end hunger, and for that, I would like to personally thank you. You're not here by chance. You're here because you're leaders. And as such, all of you have unique insights, expertise, as well as access to resources that are needed if we are ever going to solve the hunger problem that we're seeing around the world. Despite attempts, today, not one person or organization has yet to solve hunger. So collaboration between stakeholders like yourselves is going to be critical if we are ever going to create the systemic, sustainable change that we need to end hunger in our country as well as worldwide. So this year, we're encouraging you to embrace our rallying call, which is Resolve to End Hunger. And tonight, you're going to hear several stories about individuals who have made resolving to end hunger their mission. And we hope that their stories will inspire you to make ending hunger one of your lifelong commitments. And we also hope that their stories will also inspire you to have and encourage you to have more hope about the future of people in our country and ending hunger. Now, unfortunately, Sodexo's Chief Executive Officer, Sarosh Mistry, is unable to be with us tonight, but he did want to thank you for making time to be with us today. He also wanted to thank you for the support that you continue to demonstrate to the Sodexo business. Sarosh had intended to emphasize that hunger does not persist despite COVID and natural disasters and divisive politics and inflation. It persists because of them. And he is 100% correct. Hunger persists because of the many challenges that we are seeing worldwide. And at the foundation, we have been working for more than 2 decades to help end hunger. And yet, during the pandemic, we saw people seeking food assistance double. For the past 2 years, businesses and individuals have been problem solving and adapting their own personal daily lives to reflect the realities of what happened with the global pandemic. But we've seen no progress in the past 2 years towards ending hunger. And it's really hard for our country leaders to ignore how the pandemic has exposed gaps and vulnerabilities in both our food security and nutrition programs. And so consequently, if you're not aware, President Biden recently announced that the White House will host a conference on hunger, nutrition, and health this September. And we have not seen an effort of this magnitude in more than 50 years. The gathering signals that hunger is a priority for this administration, and we are hopeful that it also signals a commitment to investing in the health of our nation. Because we simply cannot ignore anymore that hunger is intricately linked to the physical and mental well-being of people, and especially the growth, the development, and the well-being of children. Now, improving food access is one of the 5 conference focus areas. Now, ironically, in this country, we have never had a problem with the volume of food. However, we have a problem with the ability to provide access to affordable, healthy food for people in need. So, for example, we oftentimes see children and senior citizens who are unable to access food, and one of the primary reasons is because of transportation. Transportation has been one of the limiting barriers that has constantly challenged program participation, like the summer feeding program that we see for children. And so consequently, many children go hungry in the summertime when there's a school break. We see other people who struggle to access food because they lack the education regarding eligibility requirements for government assistance programs like SNAP. And yet we see other people who lack time about assistance to these programs, whose applications, quite frankly, they're extremely cumbersome and they're very overwhelming to people, especially individuals who are working hard to make ends meet while they're working 2 jobs and trying to raise a family. I want you to know that the Stop Hunger Foundation tackles the access problem by working with expert partners. In fact, we have many partners that focus their efforts on helping people overcome and navigate these complex systems. We also have other partners who help increase access to food by decreasing food waste. And yet some help provide life skills and workforce development training to individuals to help them improve self-sufficiency so they can access food. And we even have partners who help to deliver food to families and to children overcoming transportation barriers. And we have many partners, but we also have partners who, of course, help us to develop and invest in youth leaders so that they can continue to work well into the future to help end hunger permanently. And sadly, we are going to need future leaders for quite some time. So when asked, what does Stop Hunger do? Oftentimes people say, so what do? You help with food aid. And the answer is yes. Yes, we do. We help to ensure that people are not hungry today. But we also prioritize solutions that go beyond food aid because we know that that's how we ultimately will end hunger. So in closing, I would like to reinforce that there are 3 ways that Stop Hunger achieves its mission. And that is through fundraising, strategic partnerships, and volunteerism. You are here tonight helping us to raise funds to end hunger. And as I stand here, I am sincerely overwhelmed with gratitude. I appreciate your generosity, all of your enthusiasm, you have plenty, and your dedicated efforts, all of which are helping us, they're helping Stop Hunger achieve its mission. Now, I do, however, want to be realistic. I try not to be the Debbie Downer in the group, but I am oftentimes the voice of reason. And the truth is, I think we all know we're not going to end hunger in the next fiscal year. But I'm confident that with our sustained efforts and all of your creative minds and the collaboration that we already have going with many of you in this room, that we can swing the pendulum back to the prehistoric, well, maybe prehistoric, I'm not quite sure. And that's on film, I know it. But we can swing the pendulum back to the historically lower hunger rates that we saw in 2019, which is when I came into this role. So I want to assure you that Stop Hunger embraces the challenge that's ahead of us because we know in our hearts that having enough food to eat is a fundamental right for every human being on this planet. None of us, not our parents, senior citizens, children, babies, none of us can thrive and reach our maximum potential until our basic needs are met. So please, I'm asking all of you, can we work together to continue to resolve to end hunger? We need to be the leaders. Can we be the leaders together that our world needs to create a better, brighter future for brighter life for future generations? So I am glad that you all are here. I've had the opportunity to speak with many of you last night. I'm looking forward to the opportunity to speak with many of you again tonight as we continue our celebrations. But at this time, it is my distinct honor, and I'm very proud to welcome to the stage my colleague and friend, our board member, Stop Hunger champion, all-around great guy, Vice President of Supply Management, David Curry. Thank you. Thank you, Dave.
Thank you, Roxanne. I'm just glad she didn't call me prehistoric. I think my favorite title in that mess of things was friend. She's been a great friend and a great board member to work with, and I'm looking forward to future years. As Roxanne mentioned, there are 3 key activities that we're focused on with Stop Hunger to achieve its mission: fundraising, partnerships, and volunteerism. And I want to talk about all 3. First, the Charity Classic is all about raising money for the foundation. And thank you for recognizing that hunger continues to be a huge problem for all of us. I know I personally will resolve to end hunger because I've shared before, hunger is personal to me. I shared my story about my dad last year, for those of you who were here. And sometimes they were able to eat and sometimes they weren't. The Great Depression was an immensely difficult time for many people, and my dad was one of them. But tonight I wanted to share a story about him that he thought was funny as an adult. He didn't think was very funny when he was 5 years old. And I shared this with my mom, and she laughed on the phone. It was great to hear her laugh. My dad had an incredible sweet tooth. Most kids do. And he continued in his adult life with that. Well, he and his brother had a great day selling newspapers in downtown Columbus. They made 12 cents. 12 cents. But they were really proud. They were on their way home. and my dad convinced his older brother that they deserved a treat. They had had a great day. They stopped at this little German bakery down in German Village on their way home, and they bought 3 cream horns. Has anybody here had a cream horn? They're incredible. And they are delicious. I think of my dad every time I have one. They spent 6 cents out of their 12 cents, half of their money. Oh my God. Can you imagine what my grandmother, 4'10", 90 pounds soaking wet, Lebanese woman, thought when they came home? To say she was angry was an understatement. So what did his older brother do? What every brother does. It was Johnny's fault. Point to the other one. This wasn't going to end well. She grabbed the broom. She grabbed my dad by his ear, and they walked 3 blocks to the bakery. This poor German man in this bakery had no idea what was coming. He got the surprise of his life when this little Lebanese woman started hitting him with a broom and talking to him in Arabic. My dad was interpreting as fast as he possibly could. He grabbed the box of pastries, he gave my grandmother the 6 cents, and she hit him one more time on their way out. It was an impression moment. She sat down with my dad and said, "Do you realize how much we could buy and how many days we could eat with that 6 cents?" He was 5. Can you imagine what that does to a 5-year-old? It left a profound impression on him. He still loved cream horns. But I share the story because what's happening today is the exact same thing. I love telling stories about my dad. But inflation is doing the same thing that it did back in the Depression. It is taking money away from families that need it for food. Your donation tonight and for this experience is even more impactful because more families don't have the money to pay for groceries. That's why fundraising efforts are so important right now. I don't have any cream horns for you, though. Of course, this is not possible without each and every one of you and the support of your companies. And with that, let's say thank you to our presenting sponsor, Pepsi. I want to thank Ann, Hugh, and Vivian, who helped us put this together from the beginning. I want to thank, we already gave a special round of applause, so let's keep this going. Our next sponsors, which are platinum level, Cisco and FreshPoint, who had the honor of playing golf with me today. Thank you, Ted, for carrying us today. Your assistance, and I know your shoulders are sore. Greg, I appreciate you listening to me for 18 holes. And thank you to our founding sponsors. What a great job they did and what they do for us today. Thank you for all the support. Let's thank our champion sponsors. I appreciate their support for the event also. And of course, we've got a significant group of contributing sponsors. Thank you again. We can't do this without all of you. We appreciate all the passion for supporting the foundation, and I can't say thank you enough. You're not just our partners in business, you're also our partners in supporting the legacy of Sodexo's mission to ensure that all children grow up with healthy food every single day. Partnerships extend beyond fundraising. And over the years, many organizations have stepped up and worked hand in hand with the Stop Hunger communities. Last year, the Stop Hunger Foundation was approached by Sodexo Live and Nestle Professional to launch a culinary initiative that would bring soup to people in local communities. What started out as a pilot in Wilmington, Delaware, grew to 7 locations that stretched across the U.S. During our annual serve-a-thon, they served 17,000 servings of soup to help feed local community members in Delaware, Baltimore, Tennessee, Virginia, California, and Massachusetts. This is a true example of how collaboration and use of shared resources can easily make a significant impact in the local community. Thank you, Steve Pangburn, who couldn't be here tonight, CEO of Sodexo Live, and the supporting team from Sodexo Live. It was great collaboration with the Nestle Professional and the Stop Hunger volunteers. And finally, I'd like to thank the following partners that contributed product to our architecture down on display in our registration and gift room. All that product used for these structures will be moved by Stop Hunger, the Pinehurst Community Volunteers, to the Sand Hills Food Bank, which is about 10 minutes away. The timing of the donation is perfect, as it will help with their summer feeding programs. And that brings me to the third way that we can activate to end hunger: volunteerism. As we prepare to meet our amazing youth scholars and our Sodexo employee heroes of everyday life, I'm confident you will witness the importance and power of volunteerism. We'll all get inspired by the stories. Helping us prepare to meet our Stop Hunger stars is Pascal Brady. Pascal is not only a dedicated Stop Hunger board director, she is also the wife of Stephen J. Brady. And for many that are here this evening, you may already know the legacy of Steve Brady that brings to the Stop Hunger Foundation. For others, you're about to hear an amazing story about a guy who, because of his vision, has us all gathered here today. He is also the reason why by the end of this evening, Stop Hunger will have recognized 81 Stephen J. Brady scholars and 241 emerging leaders. What started in 2007 as the Stephen J. Brady Scholar Program has now in 2022 awarded over $1 million in scholarships and grants to youth who resolve to end hunger. Please give me a warm round of heartfelt applause for Pascal.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Hello, everyone, and thank you, David. Tonight, we will recognize 10 people who are helping the fight against hunger. 5 of them are Stephen J. Brady scholars. As Dave mentioned, many of you may know the story of Stephen Brady, but many of you may not. Who, actually show of hands, who met Steve? Who knew Steve? Hey, not that many, so you're gonna find out more. So I am a foundation board member, but I'm also the wife of the late Stephen Brady, and I'm honored to share some background about this great man. Steve and I met in 1992 in Paris at one of Sodexo's innovation forums. After the forum, Steve invited me out to dinner on the Bateau Parisien, which is one of Sodexo's businesses, and with 50 of his clients. It was a very intimate first date. I just realized this morning, actually, and this is a little tough, that this was on June 21st, 1992, so exactly 30 years ago today. And my daughter, our youngest, is currently in Paris at the Fête de la Musique, which is a very big event on June 21st. So, and the rest is history, as we say. For 3 years, we dated cross-Atlantic. That was before cell phones, before emails, before any of this stuff. So it was, landlines and handwriting letters, which I'm glad I have today. He was in Boston, I was in Paris. And on one of his visits to France, I took him on a trip. So this 6'2", picture this, 6'2", 190-pound man packed in a little tiny French rental cars on little tiny French country back roads. We had a lot of time to speak, and what we talked about was, I was a 26-year-old idealist, so how come companies don't do more work to help the world? Why don't they help to change the world and make it a better place by being more socially responsible? And so Steve commented at that point that no one should ever have to face hunger and not too long later, the Stop Hunger mission was born. You see, Steve understood poverty all too well because as a young man, he faced some hardships himself. His father passed away when he was 11. His mother was very ill, and so he was raised by his very poor maternal grandparents in Connecticut in a tiny little house. He didn't have a room to himself, so he slept on a couch in the living room until he went for college. And that might be why his difficult upbringing, partially explained why he was so passionate about helping the less fortunate. Fast forward to 1996, which is when the first Stop Hunger event took place in Boston. You can read all about the history of the foundation on the website, but what I want to talk to you about tonight is about the foundational values that really motivated Steve and drove him and helped him grow the Stop Hunger movement at Sodexo. First, and this may surprise some of you, his goal was not to feed the hungry. While he understood and recognized that some people obviously needed food every day, food aid was not the ultimate goal. His goal was to eradicate the root causes of hunger. I remember clearly how he would look at serving more meals as a failure, not as a victory. It was incomprehensible to him that 20% of all Americans, the richest country on earth, did not know where the next meal was coming from. And it was driving him particularly crazy that of those 20% of Americans, a lot of them were children. I'm proud, really proud, that Stop Hunger has sustained his mission to help ensure people, and especially children, have food today, while also working to ensure that people have the resources and skills to avoid hunger tomorrow. Second, Steve felt it was really essential to bring people together to raise awareness and funds for this critical mission, while ensuring that 100% of the fund would actually go to the cause, directly to fighting hunger. And that's why we're all here tonight, is because for 23 years he has wanted people to get together. And to help draw a crowd to the annual foundation dinner, originally he would invite a high-profile guest speaker. I don't know if any of you were at the dinner where there was Michael Jordan or Maya Angelou. That's the one that I was able to go to, Maya Angelou. He let me do that. He then realized that he didn't want to have guest speakers who could attract and entertain crowds, and that there was a greater need to attract people who truly cared and who sincerely felt compelled to help solve the country's hunger problem. So at this dinner, the event stars became the Sodexo employees and youth who worked above and beyond and created innovative ideas to help stop hunger. These individuals were the ones who continued and continue today to bring inspiration and hope to all of us. In the past, many of you probably attended the formal dinner and witnessed past Stephen J. Brady scholars receive their awards. And I know many of you have wondered, where the heck are they today? What are they doing? And so I am so excited and so thrilled to say that we have 3 returning scholars with us here tonight. Joshua Williams, Katie Stagliano, and Nicholas Mitropoulos. Will you please rise? All 3 of these alumni scholars have remained committed to ending hunger to this day. Joshua's Hearts Foundation, Katie's Crops, and Marine Education Initiative are the nonprofit organizations being led to this day by these 3 amazing young people. Kudos to you guys. Your contribution to the foundation help to support their mission. Please give yourselves and these hunger-fighting leaders a round of applause. Yourselves. By the way, many of you probably think that because I was Steve's wife that I attended the dinners and saw all past calls receive their awards. Unfortunately, that was not the case. He would not let me come to the dinners unless I paid with my own money the $800 for my seat. So that's why I wasn't at most of these dinners. This is the tough part. Sorry if I get choked up. So he clearly left way too soon. It was 11 years ago, though, for those of you who remember him. And he didn't have time to finish eradicating hunger in the US, let alone in the world. But his work has inspired thousands of Sodexo employees worldwide to federate in the fight against hunger, and hundreds of Sodexo vendors, clients, partners, you guys, who thanks to him became aware of this problem and joined Sodexo in the fight against hunger. Truthfully, Steve would not be proud of the legacy he's left because he just wasn't a proud man. He would also be really disappointed and actually probably pretty pissed off, I can say that because I'm French, pardon my French, that the progress made to end hunger has been reversed by the pandemic and our current world challenges. But I know that he would be beyond honored that the little idea that he had on a small French backcountry road has had such a sustained impact on so many people. Because of his vision and the support of Sodexo leaders, thank you Sodexo leaders, we are here together 23 years later, still working to bring an end to hunger. Finally, Steve would be beyond grateful to each one of you for your continued and unwavering support of the cause, which illustrate your individual and personal caring and solidarity for people less fortunate and for less fortunate fellow humans. So on his behalf, I want to thank you all from the bottom of his heart. Thank you. And now, thank you all. And now to help us recognize our heroes of everyday life and Stephen J. Brady scholars, please give a warm welcome to the Stop Hunger Foundation's board chair and president, Joan McLaughlin.
Wonderful job. Wonderful job. Pascal, thank you so much for joining us and for sharing that story with us. I'm going to get it together here. I was one of the ones who was really blessed to have worked with Steve for quite a while. And he was a confident man, but he was a very humble person. And he was a visionary, but he was also an achiever and a doer. And now we know that that's partially because of Pascal. And while he was a real man of stature, he was always approachable and very down to earth, and it just honors me so much to be standing on his shoulders. Thank you again. Thank you for sharing his story. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the work you continue to do for Stop Hunger.
My pleasure and my honor.
God bless.
Thank you.
Okay. So Steve, Dave's and even my own story of growing up in a food desert in Washington, D.C. reminds us that people who are hungry are just like you and me. They have dreams, they have hopes. They love and care for their parents and their children. They volunteer. They set goals. They are our neighbors, and 12 million of them are children. Children who are our future. This is not acceptable, folks. This is just not acceptable. And given that our country is so polarized, so fractured, we have so much going on in this world today. We need our kids to be safe. We need them to grow up in schools where they can learn, where they can thrive. We need them to be the next generation of leaders. We need them to not be hungry. These kids, and they are our kids, they're America's kids, deserve better. The work we're doing here tonight is very important, and with your generosity, we can get there. You guys with me? Yeah. I know you are, and thank you. That means the world to the Sodexo family. And I just want to leave you with this thought before I introduce our heroes. If we can commercialize access to space, why can't we make food accessible to our children? If we can take people up to space, can't we feed our kids? I think we can. Which brings me to the highlight of our evening as we applaud 5 of our employees, our Sodexo heroes of everyday life, who have shared their heart, their talents, their passion to address this insufferable problem of hunger. Heroes are nominated by their colleagues, by their employers, by their friends, and it's a very highly selective process. They're role models for me, they're role models for you, and they really demonstrate the importance of volunteerism that you've heard Dave talk about earlier. They're respected leaders in their communities and in their field. Let's take a closer look at what it means to be a Sodexo hero of everyday life.
Each year, Sodexo and Stop Hunger make significant advances toward ending hunger, and hundreds of Sodexo employees go beyond working hours to pay it forward with remarkable passion. Among Sodexo employees are those whose drive and resolve uplifts entire communities in a way that sets an outstanding example. For 22 years, the Heroes of Everyday Life program has honored Sodexo employees who have demonstrated exemplary service to others in the fight against hunger. In 2022, we're honoring 5 more Sodexo Heroes of Everyday Life. This is what a hero looks like. Chef Donnie Hawkins has a heart for hungry people, students, homeless, and those who need a fresh start. He redirects surplus food to feed hungry people, donates meals, trains and hires displaced workers, and mentors youth in the kitchen. He prefers a low profile, but his compassion is legendary. In Chef Donnie's words, "You never know the burden others might carry." Sue Sussman volunteers late nights feeding Manhattan's homeless with a nonprofit Midnight Run. Each run helps around 60 people. She hopes someday one of her student volunteers will solve the bigger issues. Until then, Sue says she will keep making a difference one person at a time. A bowl of soup, blanket, clean socks. It's really that simple. Every Friday, Denise Dixon leaves her full-time chef job and starts her volunteer work with her nonprofit Ebenezer's Open Door Kitchen. All night, she cooks delicious, healthy burritos. By morning, she and her fellow volunteers are at the local homeless shelter, sharing meals, clothes, and hugs. "I'm not just there to feed people," says Denise. "I'm there to feed their spirits." Pat Whitley and her husband started by serving grilled cheese sandwiches and tomato soup off a flatbed trailer to hungry and homeless people. Now they feed hundreds out of their self-funded mobile kitchen. Their church friends serve as volunteer crew in their ministry, Nailed for You. It's a team effort, Pat says. We're just showing them love, giving them food. Families line up when they see the Green Hornet school bus. They know Chef Henry Tapia is ready to share delicious meals and caring conversations. Henry and his friends transformed this bus into a mobile kitchen, feeding kids during breaks and helping communities during natural disasters. They get really happy when they see us, Henry says. These are the heroes among us, those who resolve to end hunger. Congratulations to the 2022 Sodexo Stop Hunger Foundation's Heroes of Everyday Life.
Now, let's meet some of those heroes. Each hero will be accompanied by their segment leader, who will present them with this evening's award. So please welcome Chef Donnie Hawkins. Good to see you, good to see you. Leaving the world better than he found it. That's the way the team at Shenandoah University describes you, Chef Donnie. You're respected by your colleagues, you're a mentor, you're an inspiration, you're a teacher to those who know you and who work with you. We certainly agree the world could use more Chef Donnies today, and we thank you for all you're doing to develop future leaders. The $5,000 grant from the Sodexo Stop Hunger Foundation will support the Shenandoah Food Recovery Network. Congratulations, Chef Donnie, on being 2022 Hero of Everyday Life. And now we're going to meet Hero Sue. Doing okay? Good. Now, to be nominated a Stop Hunger Hero is quite an honor, but to be nominated 4 times is remarkable. So your colleagues think you're amazing, and so do we, and so does everybody else here tonight. In fact, one of your colleagues described you as a selfless and wonderful individual, always puts the needs of others before herself. You are a dedicated Stop Hunger champion who enthusiastically encourages everyone to get involved. And we understand you're not shy about asking people for their time or their money, so we've got 450 people here. We applaud your persistence, we thank you for all you're doing, and we are honored to present you with the Hero of Everyday Life Award and a $5,000 grant, which will support the nonprofit organization Midnight Run. Congratulations, Sue, on being a 2022 Hero of Everyday Life. Now, can we welcome Hero Pat Whitley? Now, Pat, you really do exemplify where there's a will, there's a way. Nailed for You started with you and your husband using your own funds and outfitting a trailer to serve people who were hungry and neighbors in need. Your team shared that you have a caring spirit that is not only evident in how you help your community, but also in how you support your employees. And another unique fact about Hero Sue is not only does she work at the Randolph Health in Asheboro, North Carolina, but she and her children were all born at Randolph Health. I'm sure the entire community appreciates your energy, your passion, your food, and most importantly, your love. Thank you for what you're doing, and the $5,000 grant from the Sodexo Stop Hunger Foundation will support the Nailed for You outreach ministry. Congratulations. Our next hero is Henry Tapia. Unfortunately, Henry is unable to join us today. He's been described as a community hero, and earlier in tonight's program, Roxanne spoke about the need for access to quality, nutritious food. Henry has provided us with an outstanding example of how to overcome this barrier by converting a decommissioned school bus into the Green Hornet. And when the streets are too small to get that bus through the neighborhood, he jumps on his golf cart and delivers food. Henry meets people where their needs are, and we know transportation is one of the biggest issues in getting food to the vulnerable populations. Because of Henry, children are not going hungry this summer, and they're going to come back to school in the fall ready to learn. The $5,000 grant from the Sodexo Stop Hunger Foundation will support the East Texas Baptist Encampment. Let's congratulate Henry, even though he's not here tonight. And now, please welcome Hero Denise Dixon. After a long week at work, Denise takes a nap, and then she gets right back to work, helping the community in Northeast Oklahoma City. And nothing stops her. And I want one of those burritos we heard about. We're told that despite bitter cold temperatures, rain, snow, sleet, hail, you were there providing food and clothing, socks, hats, gloves to people in need. Denise, your colleagues told us that your ministry powers you to care for the homeless community and dedicate your time with no expectation of recognition. Well, we all believe you are most worthy of recognition. You're impacting so many lives by not only fueling their bodies, but also giving them hope. The $5,000 Sodexo Stop Hunger Foundation grant will support the Ebenezer Baptist Church. Congratulate Denise on being a 2022 Hero of Everyday Life. And can we bring all of our heroes back, please, for one final round of applause for the 2022 Heroes of Everyday Life. Thank you. So this evening, I also have the pleasure of introducing each of the 2022 Stephen J. Brady Stop Hunger Scholarship recipients. Imagine these kids shaping their communities today and being the leaders that we so desperately need tomorrow. National winners receive a $5,000 scholarship and a $5,000 grant to the charity of their choice. To date, the foundation has honored 322 young people through the Stephen J. Brady Stop Hunger Scholarship. Tonight, we'll see a brief video about each of our next 5 scholars and then have a chance to meet them on stage. So let's meet our first scholar.
Hi, I'm Shaman, and I'm the founder of Foodle. Foodle is a system which helps connect donors with people who are in need of food. And the Foodle does this by using a smart app and a smart basket. All a person needs to do to donate some food is just pick the food up, put it into the basket, and then the camera-enabled and GPS-enabled smart basket will automatically make that food available to people so they can pick it up at their own convenience. The Foodle basket could be put in homes, groceries, restaurants, offices, almost anywhere actually, and that's what makes this Foodle basket so efficient and this Foodle system so efficient to use. Recipients of the food said that they especially liked how they could collect the food at their own convenience, and that this brought smiles to their faces, and this is what motivates me to keep on going. In the future, I see my project grow across the United States and even across the world. So many communities have Foodle baskets which they can use to donate food, and this whole Foodle system is in production in mass. I feel everyone should get the opportunity to bring their ideas into real life and not be stopped by any factors. And so we make this all free so everyone can join from around the world. I resolve to end hunger.
Let's give a warm welcome for Shraman. Yeah, it's going on. Congratulations. How you doing? Very good. So welcome. Your app is ingenious. And I'm just curious to know, how long did it take you to create Foodle?
So
Have it close. Hold it.
So I actually started working on Foodle at around 2018. And I remember the first version of Foodle actually took me quite a while to make. And I specifically remember every day I came after school, no matter how much homework I had, I always ended up spending 2 to 3 hours on Foodle, whether it be working on the specs, learning and implementing programs, and actually reaching out to food banks in my local area to get feedback so I can apply it to my system. This often resulted in long nights, but at the end of every day, I felt fulfilled with what I was doing because I knew I could change the lives of millions of people.
Boy, that's incredible. I don't know about the other people in the audience. I can barely do Wordle. I don't know how I would ever figure out an app like Foodle. But I understand you've also created another app called Crop Mates. Tell us a little bit about that and how that is going to address food insecurity.
Yeah, so while the goal of Foodle was to actually redistribute the wasted and excess food to people who are in need of food, the goal of CropMates is to actually increase the amount of food production by increasing crop yields. And so my CropMate system does this through a drone, an app, and and IoT sensors. And through this system, my app is able to detect disease and deficiencies through algorithms running on the back end. And through this, we are able to increase food production.
Oh, wow. I mean, is this not amazing? You are really, really shaping or recreating the landscape of food insecurity.
Thank you so much. It means a lot.
Thank you. And on behalf of the Sodexo Stop Hunger Foundation, we are honored to present you with a $5,000 scholarship and a $5,000 grant to Community AI. Let's give him another round of applause, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And now would Scholar Shreya please come forward to the stage? Shreya.
Hi, I'm Shraman.
Shreya.
I'm the founder of Food.
Oh, I'm sorry, we have the video
I'm
first.
Shreya, and I started Nourish America.
I just want you to meet him.
My childhood experiences with food insecurity and my experiences volunteering at a food bank motivated me to start Nourish America. I worked with children who were unable to find allergy-safe options that fit their dietary needs. It's really important to provide nutritious and allergy-safe foods. For example, for a child with peanut allergies, they couldn't take home the peanut butter. Certain other dietary restrictions, people could not find foods that they could safely take home. I know that they're extremely grateful and happy to see allergy-friendly options and nutritious options at their local food bank. One woman told me that what Nourish America was doing was like an angel had come to her, which was very touching to me and like something that I'll always remember. Your life experiences make up who you are, and you should use them to give back to those who need it the most. Helping others and uplifting families, I always feel energized after, and I always feel ready to take on more. I resolved to end hunger.
All right, now, please welcome Scholar Shriva to the stage. Shriva. Welcome, Shreya.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good, thank you. Now, when people donate to food banks, they often don't focus on the nutritional value of the food, not to mention special dietary needs, food allergens. So tell us, what do you think are the top 3 foods people should focus on when donating if they want to address food allergies?
Thank you. Yeah, I just want to say first, it is such an honor to be a Stephen J. Brady Stop Hunger Scholar this year, and I'm so grateful for the Sodexo Foundation's support of my work fighting hunger. To answer your question, I would say that the best and most necessary food options to donate would be gluten-free pasta, rice, and sunflower butter, as it is a nut butter alternative that many children who have nut allergies can safely eat. But I do encourage anyone who is interested in donating to reach out to their local food bank or even volunteer their time to learn more about their specific needs.
Thank you. And you mentioned, when I was talking to you earlier, you said that a lot of families are really stressed about food allergies and that you could really relate to their anxiety. And I think you have a personal story to share here. So could you talk to us a little bit more about how you came to focus on, foods that meet dietary restrictions?
Yes, of course. My personal motivator for starting Nourish America was my family's personal experience with food insecurity when I was a child growing up in New York City. That and the combination of my volunteering experience later in high school as a Gold Award Girl Scout at my local food pantry really opened my eyes to the access barriers faced by people from low-income communities to accessing an abundance of healthy and safe foods to nourish their families. And that is why I am leading Nourish America today, working to provide allergy-friendly, organic, and healthy food options to families all across the nation to close this barrier to access.
Shreya, thank you. Thank you for bringing that dimension to the food donation process, and you're a very, very courageous person. And we are honored to present you with a $5,000 scholarship and a $5,000 grant to Nourish America.
Thank you so much.
These leaders are pretty amazing, aren't they? I just wish I had their drive when I was their age. So now we're going to meet our third scholar, Hero Zania Stinson.
Hi, my name is Anaya, and I started the Z Feeds Angel Food Project. When I was little, I lived in the Women and Children's Shelter downtown with my biological grandmother before my now forever family adopted me. I understood how it felt to not have food, to not just go grab food really quick. I made these gallon-sized bags, and they are called Z's Go-Go bags. I put food items that do not expire, and I give them to the homeless shelter, or I give them to anyone I see that is homeless. I gave this little girl a go-go bag. She was 6, and she was really excited about receiving deodorant. What I'm thinking about going back to school is what kind of book bag I'm going to wear, or what kind of pencils I want. And what she's thinking about is, oh my gosh, I get to smell good. I won't get bullied or picked on. It doesn't matter where you have come from. It doesn't matter how old you are. You can make a difference in the community. We will end hunger.
Please welcome Zanaya. Welcome. Hold it up. You have to hold it up there. There you go. Welcome, Zanaya.
Thank you for having me.
I saw you had a boot on earlier today. You okay?
Yes.
Okay, good. Now, you've shared that your go-go bags are created with kindness and love and are a direct result of your experiences living in a homeless shelter. Tell us about that experience and how that helped you develop compassion for people who are homeless. And tell us what you think people don't understand about individuals who are living in homelessness today.
I feel like people misunderstand homeless people. Like you said, they are just like us. We are literally the same. They just don't have all the opportunities that we have. And I feel like we should go to them and tell them to never give up, that better days are coming, and that my experience from being in the homeless shelter made me understand them so much more, and understand that they are just like us, and understand that helping them will make them so much happier.
And you know, you put little words of encouragement in your bags.
Yes.
And you spoke a little bit about some of the messages that you send to people. Why do you think that's so important? Why do you do that?
I think it's so important for them to know to never give up, and I think it's important for them to see that someone like me was in a homeless shelter and that I'm out now, and to show them that they can come out too, and just don't lose hope, and that better days can come and they will come. And it doesn't matter how old you are or how young you are, you can get out of the situation that you're in.
Wow. So now your work is inspiring, it's building kindness and compassion, and the world needs so much of that today. You're bringing people together. Please keep doing this amazing work, and please keep inspiring us. On behalf of the Sodexo Stop Hunger Foundation, we are honored to give you a $5,000 scholarship and a $5,000 grant for Z Feeds Angels Food Project. Let's give Zanaya another round of applause.
Thank you so much.
And now we're going to hear about our fourth scholar, Jacob Manjbot.
I'm Jacob, founder of Food Certainty. Food Certainty is it's a food recovery and reclamation project. It takes so much time to recover, especially from grocery stores. It's cheaper for them just to throw the food away than to donate it. Food Certainty is really a solution to that problem using machine learning. We look at images that grocery stores and our partners provide us. It's run through an algorithm. The computer identifies what's in the image. It can then be added to an online database, and our partner nonprofits can then shop and kind of check out and then go pick up the food for themselves. We are solving the biggest problem, which is currently how much time it takes to actually move that food from the grocery stores to our partners and eventually onto the end consumer. We're changing this and using computers to identify food that's available and kind of categorize it and make it so it's a lot easier for our partners to figure out what's available and go pick up. We solve for the problem instead of applying a solution that we've developed for something else. It's more of a direct solution and it's more efficient. It's awesome to have people thank you, but it's really, really more important to just get out there and do it. There are people who have been with us for 7 or 8 years now who keep coming back to our volunteer sessions because they really love helping. And they bring their friends, and then it just kind of snowballs. We're able to blindly help everybody. There's no differentiation, it's just help. We will end hunger.
Please welcome Jacob to the stage. So Jacob, earlier in the program, we talked about how a lack of access is keeping people to the food, keeping people away from the food that they need. In your application, you stated that 40% of food in the US is wasted, and 40% of that wasted food comes from grocers, restaurants, and food service companies. So we need to stop wasting food is the answer here, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, and that's what you're doing with Food Certainty. So why do you think we continue to see so much waste today?
Yeah, so as I stated earlier in our video here, the biggest problem right now is cost of food recovery. Especially in Santa Barbara County, it's about 10 times cheaper to just throw the food away into the dump than to donate it and get it out into the community and people who need it. Our solution is really a solution for the problem. It's finding a networking solution to create a computer solution instead of relying on really valuable man hours that don't really exist in the community. And instead of relying on volunteers, we can rely on something that's incredibly reliable, that'll solve it, and that solves it efficiently.
Wow, okay. And how do you think Food Certainty can help mitigate waste and also address food insecurity?
Scalability. Scalability is the goal with Food Certainty, as it is with the goal with all of our projects. But for me, Food Certainty really is a scalable solution. We can set up in any community around the world easily because it requires no physical infrastructure. We network virtually. It's all through an app. It's all through servers. We don't really need the on-the-ground forces that a lot of other solutions do, and that's kind of what really inspires me, is how easy it's going to be to expand this from here on out.
And in Santa Barbara, about how much food do you think is wasted?
About 20 million pounds is wasted.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible. That's enough food to provide at least one meal per person in the United States. That's unbelievable.
It's ridiculous, yeah.
Well, we're glad that technology is continuing to drive solutions, and we want you to keep up that amazing work. And we are so thrilled to present you with a $5,000 scholarship and a $5,000 grant for the Santa Barbara Food Bank. Let's give a round of applause for Jacob. And now you're going to meet our final scholar for the evening, Mackenzie Greenwood.
I'm Mackenzie, founder of Hampstead's Little Free Pantry. I started Hampstead's Little Free Pantry when I was 9 years old. A Little Free Pantry is so easy to operate. I come here about every other day and make sure it's stocked. This little boy came a couple weeks ago at one of our events, and he was looking at all the food and he was looking at the cupcakes and he goes, "Mommy, they're all free. I can take as many as I want." And then he came up and gave me a hug, which was really sweet. I think what people don't understand is how easy it is to stop hunger. The Little Free Pantry is such a simple way. It's just a cabinet in the wall, and people come and take as much food as they need without any paperwork. It relieves the stress of, oh my gosh, what am I gonna buy for dinner, rather than how am I gonna bond with my family today? The pantry is anonymous, so a lot of times I don't get to interact with people who are taking food, but during certain events, they'll come up to me and they'll give me hugs. They'll even give me Christmas presents. The fact that I'm supposed to be giving to them and they give back to me just because they're grateful is just the best feeling in the world. In 5 years, we have been able to feed 7,000 people, and you're telling me that doesn't make a difference. That was kind of sassy. I want to spread the movement of Little Free Pantries through workshops and spread community service all over the nation by giving workshops to kids where they design their own service project based on their passions. Fundraise, volunteer, partner. I resolve to end hunger.
Please welcome Mackenzie Greenwood. Mackenzie, we don't mind a little bit of sass, okay?
That was not meant to be in the video. Beyond my control, I promise.
Yeah. Well, listen, you started Little Food Pantry about 5 years ago, right?
Yes, I did.
And since then, you served about 7,000 people?
Correct.
In 5 years. That's like 3 or 4 people a day.
Yes.
That is absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
And guess what? She's not only in Maryland now. She's also in Florida, Arkansas, Idaho, Iowa, and Texas. 5 years, people. She's a go-to speaker, she's a requested speaker, and she gives workshops to other youth on how to get involved in service projects. Tell us a little bit about these workshops and how you inspire other kids to get involved in community activities.
Of course. I think one of the biggest misconceptions is that it is hard to make a difference in your community, and that it takes time, and that it has to be some elaborate operation, when I'm just trying to prove that wrong. That is not correct, let me tell you. So especially for kids to do so. And I want kids to understand that they're so powerful and that they can make a difference in their community. So we play games to show how easily kindness can be spread, and I show them what my friends have done to help our community, to give them some even more ideas. And I started the pantry, and it was never about me, ever. It was just to give back to the community. But it's taken me amazing places, and so I share with them my opportunities to get them more motivated. So when I go home, I got a slide to add in here, but I want them to believe that, and the kids later fill out a graphic organizer to craft their own service project based on their passions, their interests, and the resources available to them.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible. And you've also planned fun runs, and you're helping people in the community get vouchers to farmers markets. And I understand that you're now kind of developing this public-private partnership with the Department of Social Services of Carroll County, Maryland. So what are you hoping to accomplish with that?
Well, I think when you think about kids within the foster care system, your mind might directly go to elementary school kids. And when in Carroll County alone, there's typically 40 to 60 kids in the foster care system, teenagers my age. And I just want them, when you're that old, I think you can understand more of what you may be going through. And I want to show these kids just as much love as anybody else. As Anaya said so beautifully, they're people, and I want them to feel loved, and I want them to feel special. And no matter what I do within the pantry, I try to keep it food related, and that is why I hope to, well, I'm going to provide them with birthday cakes to make their birthday, very special. So I hope to use my networking to make that possible.
That's a beautiful idea. You are certainly changing lives, and I can't wait to welcome you back to this stage as an alumni scholar one day. So thank you very much, and on behalf of the Sodexo Stop Hunger Foundation, we are honored to present you with a $5,000 scholarship check and a $5,000 grant for Hampstead's Little Free Pantry. So a round of applause, please, for Mackenzie. So standing before us are young leaders who are committed to eradicating hunger and being the example for their generation and the generation to come. Each of these scholars are supported by parents, by a network of teachers, by their ministry, by their schools, by government. And if you're here tonight with a scholar, we thank you for all that you're doing to support them. And let's give them a final round of applause. And as we continue to share with you, volunteers are essential to the mission of stopping hunger. We thank you for your support, and we are so honored to recognize these 10 individuals tonight who represent our heroes of everyday life and our Stephen Brady Stop Hunger Scholars, and also the 3 alumni members. And I remember when we gave you your awards years ago. Welcome back, and thank you for all you continue to do. I hope you take some time tonight to meet our alumni, guests, as well as our scholars and heroes, and learn more about their amazing work. And now, I'd like to welcome back the man of the hour, Dave Curry.
Thank you, Joan.
Thank you.
I'm certainly not the man of the hour. They make me feel like my kids are inadequate. I've got to have a talk with them. One of the many great things about the Charity Classic is the opportunity we get to spend time together while we're raising money for a great cause. While many of us were out golfing today, or said we were golfing, the non-golfing activities, we had the Love of Food Innovation Challenge today, sponsored by San Pellegrino and Pana. Here to tell us more about this event and announce the winner is acclaimed chef, cookbook author, and TV host, Chef G. Garvin.
Good evening, everyone. Man, I gotta tell you, I am so humbled, truly, to be on this stage in front of you all after witnessing such young greatness. I wish that my children were here because they do Roblox and all of this other stuff that I don't understand, but they don't do that. And they had to miss out. Good job, guys, good job. Sodexo's Love of Food Innovation Challenge invited our chefs to celebrate sustainable dining and authentic global flavors. Using Better Tomorrow as a roadmap, these chefs created delicious dishes that feature sustainably sourced ingredients with low environmental impact and contain no more than 25% animal protein. Competing chefs created dishes that are appealing, accessible, affordable, culturally acceptable, nutritious, and environmentally friendly. Their talent and passion for food is good for people and also good for the planet, and is a tremendous contribution to the healthy lives of our guests and future generations. I want to thank our sponsors, San Pellegrino and Aquapana, for their ongoing support in the culinary community and helping us bring this competition to life. The challenge's top 3 finalists delivered top-notch, and I tell you top-notch for real, recipes that reveal their culinary expertise and love of food. These chefs, Claudia Alvarado Rose, Sarah Falls, and Andrew Lush, how did I say it? It's Loesch. Thank you. I wasn't gonna let that go. Get my man's name right, because I'm G. Gavin all the time. I'm not, I'm Garvin. They proved that a sustainable diet is not just possible, but it's actually absolutely delicious. I'm pleased to announce the winner of the 2022 Love of Food Innovation Challenge. And the winner is, leave time to peek. First of all, I want to say there are no losers. No, that's not supposed to be laughed at. Everyone really did a great job today, chefs. All outstanding work. It was great to watch you perform, do what you do, and it's inspiring to do what you did with Plant Forward and all of the vegetarian stuff. Absolutely amazing. But the winner is Claudia Saldana Rose. Come on up. I see you let your hair down. Good job. You want to say a couple of words?
Thank you.
I couldn't get you to stop talking in the competition.
After we saw this amazing job that they do, I mean, what can I say? I mean, I'm speechless. Thank you for this great opportunity. It's been a pleasure to bring a little bit about my roots. It's not easy to come to a country that is not your native language and leave your family. So I'm very proud. So thank you very much. I hope that thank you. And I'm so happy. So adios.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you all, chefs. Thank you all. So transitioning to a sustainable food system that can deliver healthy diets for an estimated 10 billion people by 2050 is an unprecedented challenge, but failing to do so, it's unprecedented, but we have to get it done, number one. Because if we fail to do so, it only exacerbates the insecurity, the food insecurities that we already have, and trust me, it's not gonna be pleasant. At this point, I'm supposed to share a story with you, and I'll make it short. Growing up in Atlanta, single parent, 4 sisters, there are often times that my mother just could not make ends meet. And it's funny because when you think about being hungry, or when you think you know why someone is hungry, you think you know their situation, you really don't. Someone said earlier, we're just like you. We're your neighbors. It could be because someone can't get to the grocery store. It could be because someone was fired because they were sick. There's a number of reasons a child could be hungry. And I am one of those kids who, yes, I was hungry at times, but also my mother provided incredible love and support during those times. So we made it through. So I don't want to spend a lot of time about me. What I want to do is I want you guys to take the opportunity not to live in the past, especially with my story, because I'm blessed. I say it all the time. Food didn't change my life, it saved my life. And that is why I'm here tonight, because food is everything to me. So what I want you to think about is the future, right? Not my past. If you can pay for a ride to the moon, I just read a story where in Los Angeles they're creating, airplane taxis. So if you want to avoid the traffic, you can literally purchase a ride from the valley to downtown. We all know what's going on in the world in technology, and there's a lot of great things happening. Let's put a small part of that focus in stopping hunger. We can do it. We can do it, guys. I mean, we're all gonna go out here to the lawn, and we're gonna eat, and we're gonna leave a lot of food out there tonight. Let's start really thinking about how we can solve this problem. Because every child, every single child has a right to not just one meal a day, but 3. And what we do, we go to the barbershop, we go shopping, we get our nails done, get our hair done, and you shouldn't feel obligated to do this. I don't believe that's how it should work. I believe that we should all care about our neighbors. Each one, teach one, love one, save a life. It's just that simple. So I want you to think about that tonight. So, therefore, being here tonight is so personally important to me. Also, hearing the great stories of our heroes and our scholars, witnessing the brilliance of chefs that can create recipes that are better for the planet, better for us. It's absolutely amazing. But more importantly, tonight we come together because we want to raise awareness and money. And money. A lot of claps tonight. We need to raise money, all right? So this is essential to creating healthier communities across the U.S. So thank you for being here and supporting this very important mission. And thank you so much for allowing me just a small moment of your time to share why it's so, so important to me. And I want to thank you all for being here tonight. Thank you, Dave.